There comes a moment, not in a lifetime, but in a single day, where everything can change. Not because the world shifts, not because luck appears, but because you decide it must. You are not waiting for the right time. The right time is waiting for you. You are one decision away from a completely different life. History does not remember the people who waited. It remembers the people who moved, who defied the odds, who stared into the storm and said, "If the path doesn't exist, I'll carve one." That is the moment when the average life ends and the designed life begins. But most never reach it. Why? Because they don't understand this truth. You don't get what you wish for. You get what you decide for. There is a war happening inside you, a battle between two voices. One whispers, "Play it safe." The other roars, "Risk everything for what you believe in." One says, "You're not ready." The other screams, "You were born ready." And in every moment, you choose which voice wins. That choice, that one decision, separates the person who lives by default from the person who lives by design.
Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before the light bulb was born. Do you think he saw failure? Or did he make a decision that no matter what, he would find the way? Henry Ford was laughed at when he said he would build a horseless carriage. He had no blueprint, no approval, no applause, just a decision. A decision that he would think for himself and bet on what he saw in his mind more than what others could see with their eyes. And Walt Disney fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. Can you imagine that? The man who built an empire of dreams was once told he had none. But he made a decision. He chose to believe in the world inside his mind more than the world outside of it. That's the power of decision. It's not about knowing the outcome. It's about committing to the vision so deeply that the outcome is forced to appear. Most people think life is about chance, but the truth is, life is about choice, not comfort, not luck, not waiting for a sign, but about the courageous, terrifying, beautiful act of choosing. Choosing to rise when it's easier to sleep. Choosing to show up when no one's watching. Choosing to build something no one believes in yet. Your mind is not a mirror, it's a weapon. But like any weapon, it can be misused. It can be turned inward. It can be dulled by doubt, by fear, by the slow poison of procrastination. But with one decision, it becomes a tool of creation. It becomes the engine of destiny. You don't need to change everything right now. Just one thing. Just one decision.
And here's the secret. The decision doesn't come from your circumstances. It comes from your standard. Raise your standard, and your life will rise to meet it. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. So if you want wealth, become valuable. If you want success, become disciplined. If you want freedom, become responsible. If you want power, become focused. Don't wait for a miracle. Become it. Let today be the line in the sand, the moment the old you died and the new you was born. Not with a celebration, not with applause, but in silence, in solitude, in steel-like resolve. The world changes when you change. The dream begins when you choose it. The life you want, it doesn't live out there. It lives on the other side of one brave, bold, relentless decision. So now ask yourself, are you willing to make it? Everything begins in the invisible. Before the first dollar was made, before the first invention was built, before the first mountain was moved, there was belief. Not hope, not luck, belief. Belief is the seed from which every reality grows. And that seed doesn't live outside of you, it lives within. The mind, when it believes in something deeply enough, becomes unstoppable. It starts to bend the world to match its vision.
But here's the tragedy. Most people don't believe in themselves. They believe in limits. They believe in fear. They believe in what others told them they can't do. And that belief becomes their prison. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." That's not just a quote. That's a formula. Conceive it, believe it, achieve it. Miss one step, and the result falls apart. But when you believe in something so deeply that the world has no choice but to yield to your conviction, that's when the impossible becomes inevitable. Think of the people who changed the world. Elon Musk believed we could colonize Mars before NASA did. Oprah believed she could create a media empire before the world believed a black woman could own a network. Muhammad Ali believed he was the greatest before he won the championship. And that is the secret. You don't wait to believe until you succeed. You believe until you do. The world says, "Show me proof and I'll believe." But the few who rise, they say, "I'll believe and then I'll show you proof." This belief is what builds vision. Vision is seeing with your mind what your eyes cannot yet see. It is knowing, not guessing, that something greater is waiting for you and that it is your duty to bring it to life. Vision doesn't care about your current reality. It doesn't care about your bank account. It doesn't care about your past, your failures, your fears. Vision sees the end and works backwards with purpose. But here's what separates dreamers from doers: purpose. Purpose is the reason behind the belief, the fire behind the vision. Without it, your dream is a fantasy. With it, your dream is a mission. You were not born to live on autopilot. You were not born to go to school, get a job, pay bills, and die. You were born to become the greatest version of yourself, and in doing so, show others what's possible. But that will never happen by accident. It happens when you align belief with vision and vision with purpose. That alignment is the birth of destiny. Now here's a hard truth. Most people never discover their purpose because they never sit in silence long enough to hear it. They are distracted by noise, by scrolling, by doubting, by comparing, by chasing what the world tells them is success. But purpose isn't loud. It's a whisper. It's quiet. It lives in your gut, in your heart, in that feeling you get when you imagine something greater and your soul aches for it. You don't find your purpose in a textbook. You find it in your struggle. You find it in what breaks your heart. You find it in the thing you can't stop thinking about, even when the world tells you it's impossible. That's not a distraction. That's your calling. And once you have belief, once you have vision, once you have purpose, there's only one thing left: relentless, disciplined, unapologetic action. Because purpose without action is just potential. And potential never changed the world. The world does not need more dreamers. It needs builders. It needs believers who are bold enough to turn ideas into impact. So you must ask yourself, what do you believe about yourself, and is it empowering you or destroying you? What vision keeps you up at night, and are you moving toward it or away from it? What pain in the world breaks your heart,
And are you willing to turn that pain into purpose? Because once belief, vision, and purpose come together,
You stop surviving and start living. You stop doubting and start deciding. You stop waiting and start creating. This is how ordinary people do extraordinary things. Not with perfect plans, not with guarantees, but with unshakable belief, unstoppable vision, and undeniable purpose. Once belief is in place, once your vision is clear and your purpose burns inside you like fire, there's one final bridge between who you are and who you must become. Self-mastery. Understand this now. Your life will never rise higher than your standards, and your standards will never rise higher than your habits. Not the habits you wish you had, the habits you live by, in the dark, when no one is watching. You will never outperform your habits. You will never transcend your discipline. You will never build a life of power if you live by the rules of comfort. You must gain control over your money, or the lack of it will forever control you, Napoleon Hill said. But that's not just about money. That's about everything. Control your thoughts, or they'll be hijacked by fear. Control your time, or it will be eaten by distractions. Control your focus, or the world will sell it to the highest bidder. This is what self-mastery means. Not perfection, but power over self. Power to say no. Power to say yes when fear begs you to retreat. Power to show up every single day, especially when you don't feel like it. Because discipline isn't punishment, it's protection. Discipline protects your vision from destruction. It builds walls around your purpose so that distractions can't climb in. It says, I will not break my word to myself, not for comfort, not for temptation, not for approval. Every habit you build is either armor or poison. Scrolling for hours, sleeping through your goals, spending instead of investing, complaining instead of creating. That is poison. It weakens you. It drains you. It convinces you that you're still trying, when in reality, you're just avoiding. But waking up early, studying your craft, training your mind and body, guarding your time like treasure, that is armor. That is warrior work. That is legacy work. Winners don't have more time. They just use it better. Losers wait for motivation. Winners build systems. Losers live by emotions. Winners live by commitment. And here's the hard truth. Your environment is either sharpening you or softening you. You can't talk about greatness and keep spending your time with people who are allergic to growth. You can't build an empire with a party mindset. You can't master your mind if your life is filled with noise. You can't chase your calling while you're addicted to comfort. If your circle doesn't inspire you, you don't have a circle, you have a cage. Cut off the distractions, audit your habits, raise your standards. Because when you do, something incredible happens. Your identity begins to shift. You stop saying, I want to be, and you start saying, I am. I am disciplined. I am a creator. I am a master of my fate. I am the builder of my legacy.
This isn't fake affirmation. This is internal alignment. You are programming your subconscious to obey the commands of your higher self, not the cries of your weakness. And once you master that, you become dangerous. Dangerous to doubt, dangerous to fear, dangerous to mediocrity. Your habits harden you. Your discipline makes you unbreakable. Your environment becomes a forge, and you the weapon it creates. But here's the final truth. Discipline without purpose becomes burnout. Purpose without discipline becomes regret. But when the two meet, your life becomes unshakable. So stop asking if it's possible. Ask if you're willing to become the kind of person who makes it possible. Every day is a vote. Every action is a statement. You are telling your mind what kind of future to build, whether you mean to or not. So ask yourself right now, what time do you wake up, and does it serve your vision? What do you consume, and does it fuel your purpose or poison it? What do you tolerate from yourself, from others, from your environment? Because what you allow is what will continue. You either discipline yourself or life will do it for you. Self-mastery is not a moment, it's a way of life.
You don't master yourself once. You master yourself daily. That's how legends are born. Not in talent, not in genius, but in daily deliberate decisions to become the person they were meant to be. Now that you've learned the power of belief, vision, purpose, and self-mastery, let's talk about the battlefield where all of it is tested: adversity. Because here's what no one wants to hear. You will be tested. You will be knocked down. You will be doubted, criticized, ignored, laughed at, and left behind. And the question is not if. The question is, will you rise? Understand this. Adversity is not punishment. It is preparation. Life does not give greatness to the untested. It gives greatness to those who endure, who get hit and keep moving, who fall 7 times and rise 8. If you're going through hell, don't ask why. Ask, what is this building in me? Because adversity is the gym for your character. It's where your faith gets stronger. It's where your will becomes steel. It's where your identity is forged, not in comfort, but in chaos. And here's the most powerful truth. Adversity doesn't break you, it reveals you.
It shows you who you really are. Not the version you post online, not the version you pretend to be, but the real you, the core. And when life shakes everything around you, your core is all that remains. So the question becomes, have you built a core that can carry you through storms? Resilience is not pretending things are easy. Resilience is saying, no matter how hard it gets, I will not break my vow to myself. That is strength. That is self-respect. Because adversity is not your enemy, it's your advantage. The pain you're feeling now, that's your edge. The failure you faced, that's your story. The rejection you endured, that's your power. You can't inspire the world if you've never overcome anything. You can't lead others if you've never led yourself through darkness. You can't claim success without scars, because scars are the price of becoming unstoppable. When Napoleon Hill interviewed the most powerful people of his era, Carnegie, Ford, Edison, he found a pattern. They all had setbacks that would have broken most people, and yet they kept going. Not because they were superhuman, but because they had decided that nothing would stop them. Their why was bigger than the pain.
You want to know the secret to becoming unstoppable? It's this. The person you're becoming must be more real to you than the pain you're in. Let me say that again. Your future self must be so clear, so alive, so magnetic that no amount of fear, fatigue, or failure can pull you away from it. You must build a vision so compelling that quitting becomes impossible. Because you're not doing this for comfort. You're doing this for freedom, for your family, for your legacy, for the version of yourself you haven't met yet but already love. So when the pain hits, when the doubts creep in, when the progress is slow and the results are invisible, you must remind yourself, I'm not here to feel good. I'm here to finish what I started. You're not building an average life. You're building a monument to the human spirit. A life that says, I was here, I mattered, I rose, I created, I gave everything I had. Now, imagine something with me. Picture the version of you who did everything right, who showed up even when it was hard,
Who mastered discipline, focused on growth, served their purpose, and gave up every excuse. What would that person look like? How would they walk? How would they speak? What would they believe about themselves? Now ask yourself, what would that version of me be doing today? Not next year, not someday, today. Because success is not something you arrive at, it's something you embody. And the more you act like your future self, the faster that future arrives. So stop saying one day, start saying day one. Your dream life is not waiting for the economy. It's not waiting for the right partner, or the right time, or the right amount of motivation. It's waiting for you to finally become the person who can handle it. That's the key. It's never about the goal. It's about who you must become to earn the goal. You don't get the life you want by wishing for it. You get it by becoming the version of you that already lives it. So decide right now, are you ready to become that version of you? Not someday. Now. Because this is the real journey. From fear to faith. From comfort to conviction. From wishing to becoming. You're not just chasing success. You're becoming someone who can hold it, protect it, multiply it, share it. You're not just chasing wealth. You're becoming someone who sees wealth as a tool, not for ego, but for impact. You're not just chasing confidence. You're earning it through action, consistency, and integrity. And here's the final truth. No one is coming to save you. But the good news is, no one needs to. Because you are already enough. Not as you are now, but as you can become. And if you're willing to believe, if you're willing to endure, if you're willing to outwork, outlast, and outgrow everything that tries to stop you, then one day you will look back at this very moment, this decision, and say, that was the day I became unstoppable.